Sound check real quick. Let's see if it works. If you guys can hear me. Yes, it works. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys have all a great weekend, just like I do. I've seen there's a lot of guys already in the stream itself. It's Jake's Dronelife. We have Brad Barry right there. We have Thomas Belmont. We have Alex. What's up, Alex? Greetings to Germany. We have Midstate Rustics, Thomas, Ariels, Lone Star UAV. Welcome back. I appreciate you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Autel Evo 2 Pro versus the MAVIC 2 Pro. And because a couple of other people wanted to know some other things about my drones, whatever. So whenever you guys feel like it and you guys want to throw a question inside the chat, just do it based on whatever it is. But mainly today's theme will be between these two guys. I know it's not the Air 2S as many people asked for. I just don't have the money. You know what I mean? So I got this for a really good deal from Original Dovo. It survived. If you guys haven't seen it yet or didn't know about it, USPS messed up my package big time. When it came in, it was wet. Everything was soaked, from the filters to the batteries to the charger to the drone. Literally, when I take the battery out, the compartment was filled with water. I could shake the drone. Water was coming out. I put it in a dehumidifier box that I built myself a long time ago. Left it in there for 3 days, and I took it out, and it flies. And I just had a video that I dropped not too long ago. I think it was 2 days ago, and it almost has like already 1,000 views. I'm totally stunned. Last night, I posted on my community chat that I wanted to tell you guys all thank you so much for everything you guys do as a viewer, supporting me, and just being there, because I haven't checked my analytics for like 2 weeks. And like roughly 2 weeks ago, I looked and I just broke the 3,000 area. And I'm already at 3,200 almost. It's like 3,180. And I don't know what to say. I'm humbled by it. I totally dig it. Would have never thought that I ended up being what means successful. More like that you guys just want to hang with me. That's the cool part. I'm totally stoked. I have something for you guys I will be giving away today, that I picked up a set of Autel filters, the ND filters for the Autel Evo 2 Pro, just to give back to you guys. So sometime in the middle of the chat, in the middle of the stream, I will be giving this away randomly to any of you guys viewers that own Autel Evo 2 Pro. So now that I started flying with the MAVIC 2 Pro and finally got my hands on one for myself, I have waged off the pros and cons. I almost clocked 4,000 miles with this bad boy since I got it, since 1 year. This drone, on the other hand, is 3 years old. So 3 years is actually a long time to be able to stink on against something that is only roughly a year old. It's not even a year yet. I know that she was supposed to get released sometime last year in February, which was delayed, and shippings went go out sometime beginning of May last year. And until I started making videos about this was like already like June 11th. And I learned how to deal with the gimmicks and the pros and cons on this drone. I have had experiences with this based on that other people had the Mavic 2 Pro, but I never had my hands-on experience. And I'm very grateful for Skyfire Aerial, who hooked me up with both Skyfire Aerial enhancement kits for each controller, one for my Autel Evo 2 Pro, which I did a review on, and one for the Mavic 2 Pro controller, which I also working on a review for right now. And they actually personalized this thing for me. How crazy is that? It's a personalized thing that has the 808 State logo together with some palm trees over here, and the Mavic 2 Pro logo together with the Mavic 2 Pro writing. And I'm totally stoked. The review going to be with the stock plates, which are black. And I'm not sure if Skyfire Aerial is going to offer for an upgraded price like personalized plates, or if they give you guys the STL files to make it possible for you guys to print them yourself. So I would have to still inquire with that. But I'm totally stoked because now with this, because there's two of these, the one thing that I want to touch real quick is that if I want to switch drones and I just want to switch over with my Triple Tech tablet, I'll just go like this and I'll just hook it up just like that. And I'm going to be able to utilize my Triple Tech tablet with this because the Go app, the Go 4 app works also for the Triple Tech. So I mean, that's pretty sweet. So that's if you don't want to waste your money for a smart controller, which is usually like $800, I think, right now, $799, something around there. And it's really good. I mean, to have, if you do have both drones like I do, and I have both of these Skyfire Aerial enhancement kits, man, that makes a huge difference for me. I mean, yeah, it does. The only cons that I have on these Skyfire Aerial kits is pretty much that they are space consuming, like, because I mean, it's only 2 bolts that you got to take off. There's no tools required. On this one, is actually only 1, and you take, or 2, the thumb screw in the front and the 1 in the back. You take them off, you can put them in your case, whatever. I actually leave them together, and I actually strap both of them because they have these hooks, these lanyard hooks, and I strap them to my backpack, and I leave them on the outside because I don't plan to walking around in the rain. So I have them mounted to the outside, my Triple Tech inside of my backpack, which is like a $50 backpack review. I mean, backpack. That's another thing people have asked me, which backpack do I prefer for my drones? And I'm actually using this Amazon $50, what is this anyways? USA gear. So the cool part about this is that I can fit whichever drone I like. I can fit either my Autel Evo 2 Pro inside there, my Mavic 2 Pro, or even the DJI FPV, just like this. And this actually fits the controller too. So I'll put the controller for that in here. And then I still have plenty of room. Oh my God, I need a bigger table. Then I have plenty of room with compartments that I can put in here just because I'm a cheapo. I cannot afford all this other stuff. So this part right here fits like mainly all my batteries. This is my speaker, sorry. Anyways, but it fits mainly all my batteries in there. And once you start going like I do with like all these different types of drones to do all these reviews, and I like to mix footage up. And this live stream going to be a little bit about that too, how you can mix it up and what is sort of like one of the better mixtures of drones that you can have all together. And I mean, the last video has proven it already, that I got roughly 1,000 views on it and I got like 130 likes. So people did like it, and it has barely stuff to do with the editing. I mean, yeah, editing has to do with it too, but there's a lot of footage that you can mix up with different types of drones, you know. So, and once you start going with that, you have a ton of ND filters that you gotta come up with. ND filters for this bad boy, ND filters for that bad boy, ND filters for the FPV, ND filters for the Mavic Mini, you know, and it all takes space afterwards. But I only need this bag, one more bag for the bigger drone, and I strap these 2 controllers and I'm good to go. So is it really minimalist? Not really. Probably if I have a bigger backpack, then maybe. But to get back to these 2 guys, first thing of all, gimbal cover. So gimbal cover on this is actually pretty easy, even together with the ND filter that you have on top. You just clip it on, boom, done. The old version of this gimbal cover used to be a pain in the butt, where you had to turn it upside down to put it in, and it didn't fit most of the CPL filters, because the CPL filters for Freewheel was a little bit thicker because they were variable ND filters. Since they came out with a new cover, you don't have to flip it upside down anymore, and you just wiggle it in here. But I mean, yeah, it does fit instantly, just like I did with this, but it's because I do it a lot. But sometimes when I put this on, I apply a certain amount of pressure because I don't really clip in the front, and I'm pushing down on that gimbal part, you know. So you got to be careful with that. So always don't be in a rush. Take your time putting on these gimbal covers, because you can damage your gimbal with it. And I've seen guys actually ripping out the rubber by pushing too hard or slipping off and then breaking one of these tabs off and breaking the gimbal. So you have to be careful with that. So gimbal cover wise, I still think that the Mavic 2 Pro takes it off easy, and putting it on easy. So the Mavic 2 Pro takes the sweet spot in that. Let's run through the chat real quick. Let me see what we got in here, because I guarantee fell behind. Don't take checks. Okay, hang on. I gotta start on the top. Let's go through it real quick. What do you think about the Evo price drops? I think they're planning for something else right now. They might have a drop together with the smart controller. I've heard stories about the smart controller. I haven't been able to get my hands on one. My channel is still too small. My views are not big enough for Autel to be able to provide me with one, which is kind of sad, but it's all right. I can deal with it. I understand it's a money thing. You know what I mean? You have to have the exposure. Even though I did a lot of videos about the Autel Evo 2 Pro, the good part is because I wasn't sponsored. The good part is also I have spent all the money myself, and I have all these things going for me where I can have the liberty to discuss things that I don't like about it. You know, when you're sponsored, sometimes you have the problem that you can't say certain things, and I find that sad, and I don't want my channel to be like that. So if I can get my hands on an Autel Evo smart controller, I will. As far as I heard it in rumors wise, the smart controller will be able to support multiple devices, and I think they're coming out with another drone. I'm not quite sure about it. Can't tell you really anything about it, and because I don't know anything, I don't want to tell you any rumors. Do I have a thinking cap on that? Like I said, my thinking is pretty much that they're going to come out with another product. Plus, the rumors of the Mavic 3 are out, and there's a lot of schizos. You know how DJI does this whole leaking thing. You know, I think they're actually paying people to leak stuff, because those videos are horrible. I don't really intend to watch them. But I think because of the rumors of the Mavic 3 or even the Mini 3, after they dropped this Air 2S and they dropped this FPV, I think that they're thinking that DJI might take too much off the market for them. So they're just trying to get rid of their products that they have already. And looking at it in production-wise, I don't think it costs them really that much as we getting charged. You know what I mean? Like I think the dealers probably pay like $800 for a drone like this, or maybe $1,000 for a drone like this, while the production of this thing probably costs them only like $300, $400, so that they can make their money, or even $200. I mean, most of the stuff is plastic. You know what I mean? You look at it, it's all plastic. The most intense part on this whole thing is probably electronics. So, but that's why the Evo price drops right now. B&H and all those guys, they try to get rid of their stock, and they try to get rid of that stuff because they know already that there's a lineup for new stuff coming out. From who it is, if it's Autel, DJI, X Dynamics, or even Skyo, I have no idea. You know what I mean? So, but that's what I'm usually thinking, because when you looked at the market price drops on several drones, it always used to have to do with a new drop of a new product that might be a competitor to this part right here. Okay. So what else? DJI makes a solid product. I have to say, I have to agree with Jake's Dronelife. They do make a solid product. After this thing went through hell and it got wet, and it already served Ken Dono for like 2 years to get his money together for his real estate videography, and ever since I started flying it. So to verify that, there were a couple people that actually told me about I had disconnection errors with this. I had a lot of disconnection errors with this. It was very, very frustrating. I wasn't getting the intelligent flight modes together. I couldn't see them on the left side of the app, and I was getting so mad that I actually was thinking of just putting this on a gun range and shooting it. You know what I mean? So that's how frustrated I was. It took me like 3 hours to figure out, until I even thought of it, that Ken has original Doba has a smart controller. So that smart controller was hooked up to his Mavic 2 Pro. This controller was marked as the secondary controller. If you have it under the options in the secondary controller, you're missing the intelligent flight modes. You're missing multiple calibrations. There's another thing. In order to get compass calibration, you need to be in primary mode. But you also can use these buttons on the side, which is the TPS, which is like sport mode and primary mode or whatever. But you keep flipping that switch back and forth a couple times, and it's going to prompt you on the app to do a compass calibration, which I did. I started doing a compass calibration. Everything got better, but not really that good. And that's because the frequency of the secondary controller is set below the 5.8. So it's like 2.4 gigahertz. And it has issues with connecting. So sometimes it was only like 50 feet away, and she disconnected and she just rose up and went in to return home. And at some point, because I was close to the coast, it landed like literally like 4 feet away from the edge of the coastline. And I was like, if you are landing down there right now, I'm going to throw the controller right after, because I'm not going to be able to go down there because it's like 100 feet down. So as soon as I set this controller into primary mode, this drone had no issues whatsoever to hook up to the drone. I was able to fly it, no problems whatsoever. It has a lot of things going for it. So stability-wise and survival-wise, I don't think that this Autel Evo 2 would have survived that water damage thing. I'm not sure, though. I mean, it wasn't on when it got wet, but still, it got soaking wet, including the charger. The charger actually lost the capacitor because of that. And my brother fixed it. He took it apart, soldered in a new capacitor, and it works. You know, it's super good. It works really good. So what else? I love my Mavic 2 Pro, but wanted to try something different. So I sold it and picked up an Evo 2 Pro. And do you regret that decision that you did that? You know what I mean? Like, because if I say it honestly, if I would have started with a Mavic 2 Pro and I would have gone over to the Evo 2 Pro, based on the ease of handling of this and based on the app version of this versus that, I would have been disappointed too. Based on the handling wise, because she has way smoother controls. She has a ramp up speed for the gimbal controls, which makes footage a lot easier to establish, especially when you stay planning in the manual mode. I barely use any of the intelligent flight modes, but when I do, I want to have something really cool. And I was spoiled already for my Paradigm Alpha, because my Paradigm Alpha had dolly zoom, it had all these tracking things, it had all this cool stuff, which my Autel Evo 2 never provided. You know, they get like tripod mode, and they have a super aggressive tracking mode, which I don't trust at all. So I'm not convinced that I'm ever going to be really using the tracking mode, because she just is all over. She's in your face, then she backs back up. She goes like close to obstacles and stuff. And I'm not really happy about that, you know. So I don't really use the tracking. The tripod mode is nice to just let her hover and hook up to something, and then she just follows. You can establish a couple B-roll shots with that. Really nice things. The hyperlapse, on the other hand, on this, which is I'm not sure what in naming it a hyperlapse. I think this thing is a time lapse. In general, that's a time lapse, because you're taking pictures every so often. From my understanding, what a hyperlapse is, you're flying forward and you're actually speeding up that footage to make it look quicker to go through stuff. That's a hyperlapse, because it's hyper, meaning faster, of what you just took video of, so that you shorten the process of getting to a certain point. It's just like speed ramping. So the hyperlapse function they have on this is pretty much a time lapse, where it takes a picture every so often. Since the new update that they threw on this, they have this really nice pre-rendering process where they're creating an MP4 file. With that MP4 file, it stabilizes the footage, so it crops in a little bit to make it a little bit more stable. I was disappointed at first when I started this whole time-lapse thing with this Autel Evo 2, because I kept forgetting that she's actually moving, you know, that she's actually up, down, because she's fighting wind, and she's fighting air pockets, and she's fighting all these other things, which have an influence on the hyperlapse or on the time-lapse itself, where you have movement in your horizon, where you have movement in your obstacles. Plus, another thing that I figured out now is, why does it track certain things like clouds or other obstacles? It's because if you turn on in the options, the crosshair, which is the center point, and wherever you point it, based on where you started your hyperlapse, it will track onto that subject. So if you are trying to get a nice horizon shot with all these clouds moving over, and I realized that a lot of times when I did my time lapses, that center point was onto a cloud. It was onto the sky, which had a square pretty much where it started following that cloud, left, right, up, down, because it's a moving obstacle. As soon as I put it, that I looked down a little bit with the gimbal and then pressed the button in order to start my time lapse, it would stay on that thing and it would just stick with that scene. And I got some really, really, really beautiful time lapses out of that, where she now was able to hold it. Besides that, you have to understand that you sometimes are in windy conditions. You are 120 or 240 feet up, 300, if not even 400 feet. You have to understand that air moves different as soon as you're beyond 50 feet, because there's a lot more wind shears going through. There's a lot more things going on. Like if I'm in front of the coastline, wind coming up from the coastline, pushing upwards and then creating that draft. That is 100 feet above. You're not going to feel it while standing down there and you're thinking to yourself, I don't even see the trees moving. The trees are only 60 feet, but you're up there 200 feet. So you have to remember those things. And that also causes once in a while that she has a gimbal tilt, because the drone is fighting that wind going sideways. Now the gimbal is off. She's readjusting. So now you have these shakes in there. A lot of times I realize that, and on super nice days where there's barely any wind, I had no issues whatsoever. But as soon as you have some wind somewhere around, up there are gusts up there, sometimes probably 50, 60 miles an hour. So you got to be careful on that. Let's go through the chat again. We have Magic Mike. What's up, Magic? What's up? And Peter Guava. What's up, everybody? Aloha. And let's go through. What else do we have? I got the to-go bundle Evo 2 Pro for $15.99. Now I saw it for $13.99. If you still have the opportunity to return it for some whatever reason, because you only bought it like 2 weeks ago, I would suggest return that sucker if you can. For whatever reason, just return it if you have the opportunity and just buy it again, rebuy it again. I see a couple of guys doing that. They actually returned theirs. They bought it on Amazon for like $15.99, and then they actually returned it through Amazon, and then they rebought it from B&H or whatever for like $12.79 plus extras, whatever, came out like 14 something, but they got way better deal than the $15.99 deal. So that's what I would suggest to you guys. Then we have Mid-State Rustics. No, I do not regret it at all. That's great. What's up, Jedediah? How you doing, my man? Alex, I like only, I don't know, I don't see the emojis. The emojis are squares for me, so. Jake says DJI is king. Yeah, you can see that. Any issues with DJI geofencing? I did. I do have issues where there are certain areas. Oh, I totally forgot about this. I was flying earlier, sorry. It's another thing. People on the forum one day asked, can you laminate your FAA registration card? Yes, you can. And I did. And I have like 4 of these. And I put like these clips over here. So as you guys can see, I didn't even realize I still had it on. But I clip it here. And I had, so far in my entire time flying, I had like 4 or 5 occasions where police shows up. So police officers here in Hawaii are not really educated on that whole drone thing yet. And when they ask me, do you have a license for this? Then I show them this and I tell them, yeah, I'm certified, registered with this drone. And I'm currently in an area where there's no restrictions except for the regular FAA regulations. So this helps. So I don't know. I got laughed at from some people online for having this, but it works well for me, so it helps a lot. It's something, it's like the same like when a cop walks up to you and asks you for an ID, and you don't have an ID. So usually you run into trouble right there because you're supposed to have an ID. This helps you a lot. And if you have it like me, like just clip it on, whatever, it makes you look a little bit more official too. Instead of having, let me grab my wallet first. Now you get shot because you put your hands behind your back. I don't know. You know what I mean? The world is crazy these days. So yeah, you can laminate this stuff and you can show it to them and they're going to be reading it and they're like, oh yeah, that's your name. And that name matches my ID, and then get the registration on top of that. And then if I open or if I bring my drone back and I show them and say, see, there's the number of this registration on this drone, just as it is required. It makes life a whole lot easier, and encounters with law enforcement so much easier too. Plus, I'm usually a nice guy to law enforcement guys because they just do their job too. So unless they're dicks. So, but yeah, to get back to the geofencing, yes, I did have geofencing. As much as I was afraid in the beginning of my career of flying drones and starting getting clients and stuff and being scared about geofencing, geofencing for me personally has a lot to do with what area you want to fly in. You have to inquire permission through the app to be able sometimes to take off, which can be a hassle, which Autel Evo 2 does not require you to do. It still takes off, even in no-fly zones. So in no-fly zones, you won't even be able to get permission from DJI to be able to take off. That has pros and cons. If you are a commercial pilot or operator, I hate to say the word pilot as a drone operator, because you're operating a drone. You're not, yeah, you're flying it, but I don't know. Anyways, with DJI, the pros on the geofencing is that it's sort of, as long as the apps are up to date with their no-fly zones and all that stuff and the restriction part, it keeps people like us safe who are responsible pilots. It's like a gun that you can purchase. Anybody can buy a gun nowadays, and the gun wouldn't work in certain areas. So the same thing is with DJI FPV. You know what I mean? So DJI in general has geofencing, so it keeps certain idiots away from certain areas that they shouldn't be flying, because they're going to mess it up for those who are responsible for this stuff. That's a good part. The bad part is for those who are also responsible enough to know to inquire permission and stuff prior to flying. Now they have to wait, and sometimes that permission does not really get granted right off the bat, or it doesn't get granted at all, or it doesn't go through, or you have internet issues or whatever it is. It just takes away from your ability to fly and to make money with your drone, you know, even if you're responsible, because you know that you're in a restricted fly zone where max ceiling is 60 feet. So you set your stuff in your settings, max ceiling 50 feet or 55 feet, so that your drone does not go above that, and then you fly. So if there's ever any problems coming up that FAA wants to come after you, telling me I inquired for the permission for this and it wasn't granted right away, but I stayed within the limitations of this thing, I think the fines for that, or if you even ever face any fines on that, if they do investigate you, are way less, because you showed that you try to be responsible, and it shows that you were responsible based on the limitations set to you. DJI geofencing itself, though, like I said, keeps away a lot of idiots that would be flying in areas they're not supposed to, and it would mess up a lot more for us. I mean, if you guys watched Original Dobo's live stream the other day, there was somebody flying at Six Flags, which is an operational amusement park, and he was flying it. And I have to say, he was a crappy pilot too. I mean, I only fly this for like 2 months, and I haven't had flight time as much as I wanted to. But with his DJI FPV, he was like all over the place. He was jerky. It wasn't really fluid. And he was flying over an operational roller coaster with people inside. Now, if you have a GPS drone, that thing is just going to hover, and the likelihood that the thing is going to fall out of the sky is like barely any, unless you lose connection. But even then, it goes return to home. We all have those exceptional cases where it might drop because of a faulty whatever. But a GPS drone will barely fall out of the sky. Now, if you stay in full manual with this and you are disoriented, you make a mistake based on your calculations, you're going to be able to make this flight. This thing weighs almost 800 grams, fully loaded with the battery, going 80 miles an hour. You lose your stuff with this, and the thing is going to hit you in the head. You're going to be charged with murder. Now, this is a roller coaster. What if the roller coaster, for whatever reason, derails? Now you're there for multiple murders of how many people, or attempted murder, or you hit the roller coaster. You will be charged with attempted murder on how many people were in a roller coaster at that time, plus the violation of this. It's not worth it. So that's why I think geofencing is actually sometimes a pretty good thing. Where's your comment? I cannot take it off right now. I'm trying to take it off this whole time. There it is. Then we have Go Play Online. I want to live in Hawaii. It's nice, but it's expensive. What's up, Lynn Smith? Hi, a bit late. That's fine. That's all good. Lee Bessing, greetings from Texas. Aloha to Texas. Texas is my favorite. Go Cowboys. Did I lose some subscribers because of that? Peter Gower, here from Costa Rica. Returning is a pain in the butt. What? Returning is a pain in the butt? Yeah, well, you mean that if you lose control? Yeah, the return home. Yeah. I carry my Part 107 certification with me whenever I'm flying. I've got it on a lanyard also. See? And it makes things easier, doesn't it? Because people just, it's so much easier to just show that you are actually eligible to fly this. I have the same permit I wear in a holder. Always wear it. See? I don't know why people was laughing at me in the forums. Any word as to when testing sites are going to be reopening so we can take tests for our Part 107? I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about that. I just did my, that recertification thing for the nighttime flying stuff, but I could do it online. So I didn't have to show up anywhere else for it. Here in Costa Rica, we have no rules as long as you do no commercial work. See, but what happens when you do commercial work? Because if you pick up a drone like these two right here, this is a $2,000 drone. This is somewhat with accessories and all that stuff, a $2,000 drone. You want to make your money back somehow, unless you're a recreational flyer and you can afford to pick up something like this. But you want to make your money back because you want this to be financed through its capabilities. And if you get one Part 107, you are actually intending to make money off of that stuff. And so if you are buying this for recreational purposes, you better have the money to support it. You know what I mean? Like, plenty of people don't. Like this, I mean, it's an expensive hobby, and it takes some time to come up with this whole thing. I mean, look at all the collection I have. DJI Mavic Mini, my Parrot Anafi, now the Mavic 2 Pro, Autel Evo 2 Pro, DJI FPV. All this stuff together is like almost like $7,000. You know what I mean? So that's throughout 3 years. So $7,000 in 3 years. That's a lot of money, and it's a lot of work for me. So. Kann man einen Drohnenflug programmieren von A nach B die das? So Alex is asking if you can program a drone flight from A to B. Yes, you can. You can program, there's mission mode where you can tell the drone what to do at a certain point. I wish there would be a function, I'm not sure if there is, but let's say I fly a certain route with this drone and I want that route to be saved so that it flies it the next time on its own, and I can solely focus on the camera operation. That would be so awesome. You know what I mean? So it's like a programming mission flight, sort of, with waypoints, but just that it flies the way I just flew it, including speed, height, whatever. That would be super cool. You just brought up something there. We have Arizona Drone Dude. What's up? Aloha. How you doing, my man? And we have Babayo W. Enjoy it while it lasts. Huh? At Peter Guava. Oh yeah, the regulations for it. Yeah, Costa Rica. I gotta go. I'm on vacation. My wife is looking at me like she wants to kill. Oh, don't get the aggro, wife aggro. Don't do that, my friend. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for coming. Matt at War, don't you get a driver's license style card for Part 107? Yes, you do. You get a certificate, one that is like this big, and then you get one small one, and you can print that out too. Or actually, I think I was given. It's so long ago already. I don't know, but yeah, you do. Orange of the Autel is best at all. Yeah, I like it. I like this whole mix now. I get this bright lemon green of the DJI FPV. I get the orange over here, and I get the gray over here. So it's really cool. Take care, Jake. Yeah, Magic. Have you or anyone else tried screen sharing in Messenger or streaming live to someone watching on another device? It does work. Yes, I did. After you send me this stuff, I actually went on the Messenger and I did that whole live thing. It was kind of complicated to get it connected with this. Like it was really weird, and I had some issues with it. It was like really choppy, and the image wasn't as great. I think it's because it's 4K. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm still working on getting this whole live stream figured out because I have all my stuff set up. I'm doing a live stream right now, so I'm eligible through YouTube to live stream. I'm not sure why my drones are not doing it. You know, I'm trying to log in with my stuff and I'm going on it. I still have to put more time into it, but Bad Tuna, what's up, my man? And we have Eddie Nunes in the house. Aloha. It was nice to see you the other day on Original Dovers chat. 107 doesn't apply in Costa Rica. Not yet. You wait for it, my friend. You can do all that mission flights with Dji. You can plan your flight on your PC, save it when you're out flying. You can bring the mission up on your iPad or whatever. Or Litchi. I keep hearing about Litchi. I still gotta check it out. I have never really tried it. Understand 2.0 would cool, told, and second time kick the can. Yeah. I think the DJI has a mode like that. You can change the direction the camera is pointing, but the direction it flies is what you program. At least is what I heard. I got to look into that. So now to get back to this whole, let me share a screen and you're going to, let me pull these two up. So I took footage of this is the raw footage right here. It's not color graded. And you're going to tell right away, I guarantee you're going to be able to tell which drone is which. Share screen. Let's go on the share screen right here. Boom. I got to add it. So let me blow this up real big, real quick. So now you see this right here. This right here, my friends, is the typical Autel EVO 2 horizon tilt. While this is fresh out of the box, the controller still being on secondary, and I'm having issues with it. And that's straight out of the box from the MAVIC 2 Pro. So now I'm going to play both of these guys for you. Come on, play. Ay, what happened there? So you see there's footage. Oh, what did I do? I messed this up. There's a slight amount of cropping. I'm sorry. I'm messing this up right now. I'm going to try to fix this. I had it set up already, but the player just messed that up for me. Here we go. So as you guys can see, there's a slight amount of cropping. You can tell on the cropping too by the MAVIC 2 Pro how that stuff works out. So this day, my brother and me was flying, and I was trying to kind of like chase him. But when you see this is pretty much like the horizon tilt that I always have. No matter how many times I do my restriction, I mean my calibrations on some sort, they have never really figured it out. I have learned how to work around it, you know. So color wise, I like or image quality wise, I like the Autel EVO 2 Pro better. For whatever reason it is, I think there's more clarity. There's a little bit less of shadowing. Like when you look in here, there's a lot more shadowing, and sometimes it shows up a lot more artifacts. There is something like de-Cine-like, or there's also that log footage that you can film with. But I film most of the time with my stuff straight out of the box. So because of that, I'm right out of the box. I'm doing my thing, and I want the footage to be correct. Now with the MAVIC 2 Pro, for being a 3-year-old camera, that drone has immersive power. And Autel EVO 2 has only two things going for itself to be above the MAVIC 2 Pro image quality wise, and that is 6K, that is 8K, and that is low light capabilities. I think the low light on this is better than the low light on that. I flew it both. I haven't put it onto any of my videos yet, but I flew it both. And I think that the Autel EVO 2 Pro has better low light quality than this one. It's also that the MAVIC 2 Pro seems to have a cropping in there because they're doing a cropping on its own already to have more smoother footage right out of the gate based on their app, I think. I think it has to do with that, the way it writes it onto the cards. Now, card-wise, I have 4 of these cards. You probably can't see it, but my SD cards are the Samsung EVO Select. So those ones are the ones that are settled on with. I see a lot of times people asking which type of memory card is great for you. For me, this Autel EVO 2 Select, I mean, what am I saying? Samsung EVO Select is one of the best cards for my EVO 2 Pro and for my MAVIC 2 Pro. I have like 4 of these cards. They're cheap. They're like 20 bucks. I tried the V30s. I tried the V60s. I tried the V90s. All of them were crap, and it cost me a lot of money. If you have to think about that, you want to pick up 4, and the V90s cost like an average like $70. So times 4, you're going to end up with like $300 just in memory cards, you know, and they're not even worth it because the amount of time that you write on it and you format it and you write back on it and you format it, they froze up on me after 2 months. While these EVO Selects, I have them for almost 6 months and they still haven't given me any hassle. And I actually took them out of my DJI Mavic and I put them inside my DJI FPV, and I had 2 folders in there and both of them were written on, and I had no issues using the same card for 2 different type of drones. So that's why I think these cards are holding up really, really good. For 8K, on the other hand, now you need the V60, especially if you go faster, because now you're getting stutter in it because she can't write that amount of data on top of that card fast enough in my eyes. So if you want to film in 8K, then you need to go with the V60 or V90. You have no choice. But as long as you stay in 4K 60, 4K 30, whatever it is way, way, way better. So let's go back to the chat. Oh, Arizona, a lot of drones you have now. The wife okay with it? Yeah, the wife is all right so far. I haven't really told her about the Mavic 3 might be able coming out. So that is another one that I was looking at. But she also told me already that if I'm looking into a new drone, she asked me already, so which one are you going to sell of these? And I gave her that sad dog look like. I have to sell, you know what I mean? So I got to make a compromise somehow to convince my wife that I'm going to be able to pick up another drone. So Fox Fader, what's up, my man? How you doing? Aloha. Thomas said, Mavic looks so much better. The other video looks very soft. It is soft because it's the way I haven't on this. Let me pull this back up. I haven't on this one. I haven't set the saturation and stuff. It's still from Ken Dono. The way I had it, because I haven't played around with it. I did it afterwards, and I don't have footage on that on this computer. But this one is a lot more softer because I took out a lot of saturation and sharpness. So that way I film different. So when I play around with my saturations and my shadows and the lifting and the gamma afterwards, and the contrast, I have more room to play with, and it makes my footage look better. I mean, you guys watch my episodes, and I think you guys like what you guys see. So, and I don't really film in log because, like I told everybody, I totally suck in color grading. So, if you have a Autel Evo 2 Pro at this point, I need you to type into the chat the number 2. That would be great. So let's go and see through here. What else do we have? I guess each their own. Yes. It's all depending on the processing afterwards. How well does it process after? And in log footage, I have to tell you that the DJI Mavic 2 Pro is way better in color science than the Autel Evo 2. I mean, the Mavic 2 Pro is better than the Autel Evo 2 Pro, because the Autel Evo 2 Pro, the log is very, very desaturated. Color science on that totally sucks, like really, really bad. So we only have 2 people in here that have the Autel Evo 2 Pro, guys. Only 2 people. So if you do own the Autel Evo 2 Pro, please type number 2 inside the chat. So, oh no, I'm skipped one. I see they still have that horizon tilt problem. Yes, they do, Mr. Fox Fader. They still do. And like I said, as many times I do my calibrations and I'm really good with it, it really sucks. Like, I can't get it straight. Matter or now, I don't know if I should get the Evo 2 Pro or the Air 2S. If you want the Air 2S over the Evo 2P, the Mavic, the Evo, the difference between the two is that you have, this is a bus in the air. I had some gust issues with this one where she drifted off, and the body of the Air 2S is smaller than this. So you're going to have not as solid of a drone in the air with wind gusts as you have with the Autel. I work around that whole gimbal tilt. I'm used to it. Some people do have it, like I do, all the time, and some people just even don't have it. And I didn't have it until I did all these updates. And I don't know if that's what it is or how it goes through. You know what I mean? So it's just I don't know. I'm like I don't know how to explain it, but I still would prefer the Autel Evo 2 Pro over the Air 2S. And that is simply because I can play around with my aperture. I can play around with my settings and stuff. Yes, the Autel Explorer app ain't the greatest, but I think this drone is way more powerful than the Air 2S. And a lot of people that I have referred the Air 2, the E2P, there's so many names. The Autel 2, they have not regret their purchase at all, and they have enjoyed it. Now looking at it at a standpoint against the Mavic 2 Pro, which the Air 2S is sort of like a downgrade from, except for that it has like almost the same. It's like a mid-class, not the high class. So this is kind of like the high class drone, while the Air 2S is more like the regular consumer kind of stuff. This one is already for like pro footage, and you can take it as you want, but I still think that the Autel Evo 2 Pro is a better drone over the Air 2S. So to be honest, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys inside here. Where's my phone? I can't find it right there. So let's do this real quick. Random generator wheel by spinning. So let's spin this real quick. Sounds like one of those radiation things. And we have number 7. So 1. Magic, you messed me up. You wrote in there twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Adrian Hines. Is that how you say it? Adrian Hines right here. This is my email, 808-8 at AF.com. One finger death punch. Right there. This is my email. Oh, no, that's not my email. Hang on. I messed up. My fat fingers. Gotta do this again. And this is my email, Adrian. Adrian, this is my email right over here. You need to send me an email with your address, because you just won Autel Evo 2 Pro filters, ND filters if you want them. You just gotta let me know that you want them. Do you want them? Do you want them? Some of that footage and photos from the Air 2S looks outstanding. Yes, it does. It does look really good. I had the honor to fly an Air 2S the other day though, and I'm not. I mean, now that I have the MAVIC 2 Pro, I still think this drone is better. I don't know what everybody's ranting about the Air 2S. The footage does look really good. It does look really good, but I still think that these two drones are still better than the Air 2S. Don't ask me why. I just think that it's still better. You know, not because it's more expensive or whatever. It's just I think that because the Autel Evo 2 is so much more solid in the air over the DJI stuff. You have the no geofencing part, which gives you a little bit more liberty, especially if you do commercial work. You don't necessarily have to wait for the permission. You can inquire for it, but you don't have to wait until it's finally granted. You can take off already and then go do your thing as long as you stay within the limitations, in case anybody ever going to ask any questions, which never happened to me. And I have done a lot of client work. Okay. So besides that, there's a small nitpick things that are better on the MAVIC 2 Pro. One fun example is over here. The SD card slot has this rubber cover to remove the SD card, and I don't have to take off these arms. I don't have to necessarily open this arm. While and this rubber cover is really cool. It's really solid for a 3-year-old drone, for being used by Candono for 2 years. Memory cards in and out. That's solid. That cover is pretty solid. Now, if I go with my Autel Evo 2 Pro, as some people might have experienced it already, first of all, you got to open up your arm in order to get to your part. Okay, let me turn this off. To get to your card. Besides that, I don't know how many times I glued this plastic cap. You guys probably can't see it right now. It's going to be hard to show. But this plastic cap of this cover is mounted to a small rubber latch, and it keeps coming off. So even when I put it on, it's still a little bit sticking out over here. It's not really solid. So this is the nitpicking part where I think you have to open up the arm to get to it and to get it out. The other thing is too, though, like, I don't know what developers are looking at. They all seem to have tiny hands, because when I'm doing my thing, these cards are tiny as is already. They're not even as big as my thumbnail, my thumbnail. Okay, they're tiny, and now I have to fiddle that in there, and it's a little bit set back inside there. So with my huge fingers or hands to get into these, it's a pain in the butt. So I wish they would find a different way. I don't know. I don't know if it makes a difference to have a SD card in one of these adapters for writing speed, or maybe even use these cards instead of the micro SD cards. I don't know why everybody has to use a micro SD card, but I think these cards are way better. Like, they're bigger. It would be easier to get to it. besides that, on the nitpicking part, I like the way these propellers can fold inwards. What I don't like is that if you don't have this drone anywhere else, like in one case, whatever, how these propellers, you're laying your drone on top of your propellers, sort of like this part right here. And I don't like that on the Mavic 2 Pro. I like it. I prefer it to be like the Autel Evo 2, where it's standing on its feet all the time, open or closed, doesn't matter, does not affect the propellers. And these propellers have a lot of flight time on them already. I have not had to change them out yet. They're still working perfectly. Noise-wise, the Mavic 2 Pro is actually quieter than the Autel Evo 2 Pro by a lot. I had them both next to each other. Decibel-wise, there's a difference of almost 40 decibels towards the Autel Evo 2, even with the low noise propellers. This drone is heavier. The propellers are slightly bigger, longer, and they have more noise to it because she's heavier by a lot, heavier, and by a lot by a lot like wider. The profile is bigger. So this one, the Autel Evo 2, is louder. So if you prefer a little bit more quieter flight, then this one is your choice, in my eyes. Camera image wise now, based on the experience that I had so far, this one I only had them out for like 100 flights so far. I am very impressed with it though. I am very impressed with the image quality. It's still not what I really like. While with this one, I flew almost 4,000 miles. This Autel Evo 2 Pro, in my eyes, still has superior image quality. I mean, it is a newer drone, and just image wise, I think it's better. Really, really, really better. Okay. What else? Gimbal cover. We touched the gimbal cover. You guys know already the differences between the Explorers for both of them. This app, the DJI Go 4 app for this is really good. It's very easy. It's very intuitive. It has everything right there. While with the Autel Explorer app, there's a lot more times that you have to click the settings wheels and you have to do stuff. They have been coming out with new updates and try to come up with easier ways to do stuff. Another part is that on this controller right here, they have also A and B buttons in the bottom right here, like these ones, but they are harder accessible. So now if you're looking at these button bumpers that you get with this Skyfire aerial mount, these button bumpers help you a lot. But for the functions wise, when you want to look straight down 90 degrees, on this one, you press the button once on the Mavic 2 Pro, boom, she looks straight down. Then you press it again, boom, she comes straight back up. That's an amazing function. Autel needs to do the same thing, that when you press it. Right now, as of now, if you're looking down and you have it at like 35 degrees angle looking downwards, you're pressing this button to look downwards, straight down to look what's below you. She goes up first. Now you have to press the button again, and sometimes there's a delay in it. Then she looks back down, and it's a pain in the butt. So I think the Autel Explorer app needs more work. They need to refine-tune that whole thing, and they need to revamp it. The problem, like I mentioned it in multiple live streams before, is because they're making the Autel Explorer app for number 1 and number 2. So the Autel Evo 1 and the Autel Evo 2. Both of them run the same app. And that is, I think, where Autel falls short. They should have invested the money they made with this drone to come up with a different app. I mean, DJI is not scared of doing it. They have the DJI Fly app. They have the DJI Go 4. They have so many different apps for each drone, and everybody just downloads it. It doesn't really matter, because sometimes you only have this drone or you only have that drone. So it doesn't really matter what app you download. And I mean, how many apps do we download these days on our phones? You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. Make a dedicated app for the Autel Evo 2 Pro or for the Autel Evo 2 series, and make one for the Autel Evo 1, so you don't have to worry about it. And I think that's one of the biggest things why the firmware sometimes screws up certain things for each drone. When 2.6.2.2 came out just recently, it enhanced a lot of stuff for the Autel Evo 2, but now the Autel Evo 1 has a lot of problems and issues that they didn't have prior to it. So that's why I think they need to dedicate that stuff. You know, they need to dedicate an app to each drone, and DJI does it. Everybody else does it these days. So how come Autel can't do it, you know? What do we have? My card slot cover completely broke off, so now I have to tape it closed. See, that's another thing. So that cover is like crap. You know what I mean? Walter Hall, what's up, my man? Aloha to LA. Yes, app is not as good as it could be. Yes. Bad Tuna, you here? I seen him earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but I seen him earlier. So like I said, those ones are a lot of valid points in this whole thing. Technology wise, this thing is still bangers. And I'm not a, I don't know, I mean, sensor wise, yeah, it has the side sensors for this one. If you're a miserable pilot, you do need these sensors, you know. But GPS drones these days, they pretty much fly themselves. There's not much more that you really can do, and the Autel Evo 2 sensors are very aggressive. I catch myself majority of the time actually turning them off, because it's usually visual line of sight anyways. So visual line of sight is where your drone's supposed to be. But sometimes, yeah, you go, let's say you fly backwards, and now you're looking at your drone going backwards, and then you're looking back at the screen, and you're making sure that you get your shot, and you don't have an observer. And we all did it. You know, I do it once in a while. And while you stay flying back, now you totally forgot about the tree that is over there. Now with obstacle avoidance on with this sucker, she's going to stop you dead in the tracks 20, 30 feet away. You know, it's going to help you with those type of shots. But that's pilot error. So the reason why these sensors are actually on these drones is because pilots do make errors, you know, or operators do make errors. And because of that, they have these sensors. And on Autel Evo 2, they're very aggressive. They could be better in my eyes because there's a lot of times that these top sensors right here are influenced by the sun. If it's super bright, it tells you there's an obstacle above you. What obstacle is that? Are there aliens up there? Are we not alone in the universe? You know, so what else? Thing I don't like it on the Mavic 2, I gotta zoom, is the controller. I came from the Phantom 3 and find Mavic controller too small. I prefer to look of the new controller that comes with new drones. Yeah, well, I have the same problem because I have very big hands, so I buried controllers. Now with the Skyfire area enhancement kits on these, it makes these controllers, these tiny ones, a little bit bigger in profile, heavier, and it's just the handling is so much more better. You know, you can just hold it. There's a lanyard click in the front, and it's interchangeable, like with putting my triple tech from this to the next drone within seconds, you know, and then having the same type of profile where the controller is like the handles are like really solid. They're not moving because I have this wing in the front, and there's lanyard clips everywhere, and it just feels so much more better. Besides that, it makes these controllers look so much more professional. Your clients, if you do client work, they're gonna look at it like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Even though I might not know what I'm doing because I bought all this stuff, but the thing is that it makes it look so much more professional, you know, and impression is everything with clients. Sometimes they look at it, oh, this guy, he can charge that amount of money because they look at it. It's like showing up with an Inspire 1, you know. Everybody knows the Inspire 1 ain't that great anymore, but if you show up with it, they're gonna be impressed with it. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're even scared of it. The bigger the drone, the louder the drone, the more afraid they are. So I had clients that actually were happier to have a Mavic Mini around. And the Mini 2 nowadays has 4K. How much higher do you need to go? 4K compression-wise and all that stuff. Like most of the time when you render wedding videos and stuff, it's still in 1080. You know, it's just, it gives you a lot more punch-in power and a lot more detail to film in 4K and then downscale it to 1080 and not losing any resolution, instead gaining some ground to have more real estate to play with, you know. And that's why I think 4K, it stays like that for a while. Nobody really needs 6K like we have on this. If you want the extra power, yeah, but you got to have the extra space, and you got to have a machine that actually can render it. So you got to be careful on that. Hey, I email you. Let me know if you got the email. Okay, I will let you know if I got the email. Are you emailing me right now? Email me right now. You can just email me something like a dot or something, and then I can tell you if I got it. Because there was somebody else, I think it was Randy McNeely. I gave away Autel Evo 1 propellers to him, and he has not answered me yet, or he hasn't emailed me yet. So I hope that stuff goes through. Alex, 3 o'clock in Germany, so I'll watch High Candy videos and then night. Eye candy videos, there's another one. I used to do a lot of eye candy videos that had to do with motorcycles and cars and all that stuff. I'm planning to release some of those in the near future just for entertainment purposes. So just to let you guys know. Whereabouts? Oh, you guys are talking about where you guys at. Got it. So Mark Lansinger says, hey man, your feed helped me decide to pick up the Evo 2 Pro. My first quad also have a unique Typhoon 8. I seen a unique. I actually like the Typhoon. And I seen somebody here in Hawaii had it too. And I tried to talk story with him, but he's kind of a jerk. So I ended up never really, I don't like the guy. So if you watch this right now, you know I don't like you. He's kind of a cocky kind of guy. I don't like when people are cocky, when they think there's something better. We got to get together to do some flying. Yes, we do, but I think he's talking to Autel right now. We get Julian Ramseur. Are you going to order the Autel Evo smart controller? No, I'm not, my friend. If Autel is going to send me one, I will review it as long as they give me the liberty to discuss the downfalls on it. But so far, what I've heard on rumor-wise and other people who actually were sent one, they all said that it's pretty good and it's pretty good stuff because it has very good technology in it. And it will have technology that will support future drones. So, which might indicate something, you know, like that they might drop out another drone, either an Autel Evo 3 or maybe a small 249 gram. Who knows? I don't know what Autel is up to, but I'm not willing to spend that amount of money because I don't have it. I'm honest. I'm not rich. You know, I might have 3,000 subscribers, but I only make what I made last month is what I bought this for you guys. Okay, that's what I made last month, and with my affiliate account from Amazon, the money that I made from that is paying for this channel right now. So the channel is self-sufficient. No, how you say that? It supports itself right now. I don't have to take money out of my pocket. And whatever is extra and whatever you guys donate always goes back to this kind of stuff so I can give it back to you guys. I don't want to make profit off this channel. You know, this channel is running itself. It's perfect and it's great the way it is. But I don't have to make like Peter McKinnon like $30,000 a month. And even if I would, then I would be giving away stuff like this every freaking time. I tell you that, honest. I'm a generous person. I'm a poor philanthropist. If I would have millions, I wouldn't have millions for a long time because I would give it away to people and help people out, build houses for them and stuff. Savage says, an agency I work for just ordered 6 Evo 2s, the Evo 2 Pros, and 3 Evo 2 Duals with thermal camera. Yeah, so Autel is making a lot of money. So send me a freaking smart controller so I can review it for you guys. By the way, I did an experiment. Took off the matted cover from a TripleTech display and put a sunshade cover. It's an overkill, but the brightest clarity are almost like flying with my DJI FPV goggles on. Yes, I debated if I should take off that matte cover and put a sunshade, but I like it like that. It's all right. You know what I mean? I see what I'm looking at, and that's pretty much what I want. I know that clarity-wise, this thing is not going to be out of focus. So, or any of these drones, for a matter of fact, not going to be out of focus. And if it does go out of focus, then something wrong with it. You know what I mean? Yes, I did. You did email me. Let me see if you. I didn't get it yet. I did not get it yet. I hope you responded to the second one that I posted because the first one had issues. Thomas said, laugh out loud. Yeah, he laughed about it. My 2 boys from CJ and Jacoby Vlogs said hi. What's up, my man? Self-sufficient is correct. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. Great show, buddy. Hope to catch you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Happy flying, guys. Aloha, Thomas. Thank you so much for coming. And we are actually over my 1 hour that I usually do. Yeah, the quality on the dual thermal is awesome. I just want to express it one more time to you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I'm totally humbled by the support that I receive from you guys, the donations that you guys send me when you guys buy me coffee and all that stuff. And I totally appreciate it. I passed some kidney stones, which was not really nice. It was the first time that I ever had that. And it was really painful. I don't wish that on nobody, kidney stones. So if anything, if you want to avoid kidney stones, stay away from red meat and drink a lot of fluids. That's what pretty much caused it for me. I wasn't drinking enough. I was eating too much red meat. I work a lot. I have a full-time job that sometimes requires me to work for 16 hours straight. Then I get only a few hours sleep. Then I got to go back for another 16. Besides that, I got to try and make out videos and have enough traction on those videos that this channel can uphold itself. After that one, I got super sick. It was a bronchitis infection. So it wasn't influenza type A or B. I tested negative for COVID, which they're throwing at you crazy nowadays. You have like a bronchitis and they want to test you for COVID like every single freaking 5 minutes. And it was really hard on me. It took me down for like a whole week because I was hard-headed. You know how it goes, like, I'm just going to take a couple pills and I get over it. But I didn't get over it. It got worse. So it almost shut down my kidneys. So that's why I didn't have any footage or anything coming up for like 2 weeks. I barely was able to fly anything because I wasn't even in the mood for doing anything. Now that I'm back, I'm doing more videos. And next one up in the running will be the Skyfire Aerial MAVIC 2 Pro mount for this controller, which is an amazing piece of tech. It's really good. I hope you guys are going to like the video on that. I'm still working on I'm having issues with my rendering part on the Triple Tech commercial, and I deeply apologize for that. I know I wanted to get it done like a month ago, and it's just not going through. Plus, I'm waiting for somebody that I paid on Fiverr for a voiceover, and he hasn't delivered yet. So I don't know what's up with that. Besides that, I'm gonna throw out polls and stuff for you guys, and I'm just gonna do what I do all the time, like just keep pumping out videos. If you guys, I mean, there's a lot of reviews already on the Mavic 2 Pro. I'm just happy that I have it, that I'm going to be able to have it. But next week's live stream will be the best combination of drones that you can have all together to make something out of yourself. Which drones are actually required for you to have, which I recommend, and which are totally garbage. You don't need it. You know what I mean? Like total rubbish. So that's going to be for next week's live stream. And I think that's it so far. If you guys have any more questions, let's go through the chat real quick. Flying party at my place in Alaska, July 4th. You and everyone. Oh, that would be great, but I can't travel right now, my friend. Sunrise Media, have a great evening. Yeah, you too. Take it easy. Copy, Jim. Each one of those thermals was $7. Holy crap, that's a lot of money, man. Stay safe, 808. Sorry I was late. That's all right. You don't have to be sorry. At least you showed up. But it stays on station 10 to 15 minutes longer than the DJI Mavic Advance. Okay. Hope you get better. Yes. 808 State is big guy with a big heart. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, the thermal is expensive, but having the full 640 make the image so much better. Yeah, I have never. I tried the thermal. It looks insane. There's a lot of, but $8,000. I don't have $8,000. So Joshi said, I just got Evo 2 Pro. Thank you for keeping up good reviews. What are your tips for new users? My tips for new users is make yourself, if you're in the United States, make yourself aware of the FAA rules. Besides that, make sure that you get to know your drone. One thing that I can tell you is that if you want to fly and you're required all the time to fly via visual line of sight, which is VLOS, you're supposed to see your drone at all times, be able to see it with your own eyes, meaning not just a dot in the sky, you know what I mean? Like that you know where this sucker is going. For you to practice in the beginning, find an open field in front of you. Face the drone towards you, have an obstacle or something on the ground that you want to go around with and play around with the directions of that. A lot of people have problems when the drone coming back to them on what direction to go in case there's something happening that you know that your left input is now going to the right and your right input is now going to the left. So make sure that you practice that over and over, different directions, even sideways like this, and make sure that you are aware of where your lighting indicators are, which lights are facing forward, which ones are rear. That is what I can tell most of the people to get to learn how to fly, because a lot of times they panic. One of the biggest things is that I tell every drone pilot for GPS drones, if you're not sure what you're doing, let go of the sticks. Just like that. Just let it go. Take a deep breath. She will not crash out of the sky because of that. She will just hover there. And it will give you some time, a time window to gather yourself, make sure that what I got to do, get a better visual on your drone, and then bring her back safe home or go where you have to go. Okay, the easiest way. So let it go. It's the same like when big obstacles fall down through the ground and you don't want your toes smashed or you don't want to get hurt. All you do is let go of everything and you just step back, get away from whatever is falling down. Let it fall on the ground. It doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't even matter if it's a marble plate, but at least you still have your toes, you still have your feet. You know, you're safe, and that's the main thing. And that stuff counts for these drones. Let go of the sticks. Don't put any inputs. Don't try force it. Oh, I gotta go. Don't panic. You know, it's the same like driving a car steering wheel. Just keep it steady. Just, you know, just let it relax. That's one of the biggest tips that I can give you as a new drone pilot. What else? Gringo said, feel more better, bro. Yeah, I will try. Hey, what's up, Skyfire? Don't forget, we're also giving away a Mavic Pro mount. Yes, we will be giving, that's right. We will be giving away one of these Skyfire aerial enhancement mounts for the Mavic 2 Pro. That's freaking crazy. Skyfire Aero right here. These guys, they showed up right here. And like I said, they are a great company, a really, really good company. Josh, you look at his past videos, I think you will find what you want. Yeah, I have a playlist for the Autel Evo 2, and you will be able to find a lot of things inside there. Just scroll through it. You know, the playlist has a lot of them. MNT Drone Solution, what's up, my man? How you doing? Aloha. Which ND filter do you find you use the most? The 8 and the 16s. The 16s for a super bright day when it's like really, really bright. You know, when the sun goes up and it's like freaking noon and it's really white. The sun is white and it hurts already just looking up, looking for your drone. That's when I usually use the 16s. When it's a little bit past there's overcast or we just passed the golden hour or it's right before sunset, then I usually fly around with the 8. I barely use the 4. And the 32s and 64s only for like direct sunlight. But usually I catch the 32s. The 32s right here. Let me share the screen. This is the 32s right there. These ones are the 32 ND filters right here for the MAVIC 2 Pro and for the Autel EVO 2 Pro right here. That's 32 against the sun with manual settings. That's what it is. So that's pretty much, my cursor is going somewhere else right now. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at. On the Evo, yeah, for the Evo, that is, like I said, 16 for super bright days, 4 for overcast. I mean, 8 for overcast, and 32 for like direct sunlight. And if it's super bright, and I want really the blown out stuff, and when I want to have like silhouette type landscaping, and I want to catch every little detail of that sunrise coming up and the different coloration of the sky, that's when I use the 64. So it's a rare occasion. Great stream. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it. Joshy said, thank you. Yes, everybody, thank you. Great newbie advice. What display is that? This display right here is the Triple Tech tablet. It's one of the best tablets that you can get with 1200 nits. It has third-party applications. I also made a video about that one. It's kind of like a funny video where my brother would help me doing it. But this tablet right here is a tablet that spoiled me from Triple Tech. They sent it to me. And not just because they sent it to me, I think it's the best thing. I just think it is the best thing because I only have a phone. And I tried multiple other tablets that it didn't work out for me. You know what I mean? So in this thing, I fly my DJI with it. I fly my Autel with it. I can play games with it. You even have the chance to throw a SIM card in there and use it as a phone. The only bad part is you got to put it on a speaker. So everybody's going to be able to hear your conversations. But that tablet is great. And it has 1200 nits. Even in the brightest of days here in Hawaii, the sun beaming right on it, I still see what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So that's why that's one of the best tablets that I think it's there. Very good stream, bro. Have a good one. You too, my man. Thank you so much for coming. Hi, man. You do great videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always try to have quality-wise, and I'm honest about my stuff. So, and know what the pace button does, and that you can use it, or the pause button does, and that you can use it on a return home. Yes. Oh yeah, he corrected himself. Pause. Okay, check your email. Okay, I'm checking my. There you go, my friend. I got it. Yes, I got your email. So I'm gonna email you back right now, and I'm gonna tell you aloha, aloha. There you go. I'm gonna email you back on this, and just email me on that your address, and then we're gonna get into touch with each other about it, and then I'm gonna send these Autel EVO 2 Pro filters to you. There you go. Got that done. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much. I know there's still 35 people here watching right now. Sorry, I have to cut you off, but usually I only do an hour. I don't try to go any further than that. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget, COVID-19 is still out there to get you. Be a nice human. You never know what that other person just went through the whole day, okay? Even if you had a bad day, give them a smile. It might help you, okay? You guys take it easy, everybody. Wash your hands. Be safe out there and wear your mask. Aloha.